Welcome back to my channel, Visionary. So today I'm going to review Leo, the latest Tamil film from Lokesh Kanagaraj starring Vijay. This is the second time these two are working together after Master. Other actors include Trisha, Sanjay Dutt, Arjun Sarja and Gautam Vasudev Menon and many others. For all the new viewers, let me just tell you, I have issues with Tamil films, so I tend to be more critical towards them, and this film was honestly disappointing.
What the fuck?
Yep, I said it. I was disappointed. Come on, bring all the hate. I know this film has a lot of lovers. I know this man, the actor, has a lot of fans. You wanna hate me? Go for it. But I don't really care. This is just my opinion. I know many of you love this film, but I simply didn't. This will be my non-spoiler review. This film is loosely based off of History of Violence, which is a film that came out many years ago. And the funny part is, History of Violence is based off of a DC comic. Does that mean Leo is also loosely based off of the DC comic? I've never really read the comic, but if it is, that would be really cool, by the way. The story follows a man, Pratibhan, who is also an animal expert, and he lives in Theog, a very quiet and peaceful town that has not seen any major crimes in a long time. And then something big happens, a big crime happens, and Pratibhan is forced to fight this evil force to protect his family. Now, since this was disappointing, let me talk about my qualms with this movie first. The story is way too bland. There isn't much emphasis on conflict at all. Actually, there was no conflict at all. Even the problem that arose in the film was kind of dumb, the way it arose. I see where they were going with the movie being called Leo, and the zodiac sign there's a zodiac sign called Leo, so I see where the conflict is coming from, but it's kind of dumb, honestly, if you ask me. I won't go into specifics about what exactly it was that didn't work for me. Maybe if I do a spoiler review in the future, maybe I might go into depth about my problems in that conflict that they had. The story is also predictable. Okay, there was a plot twist that happened in the story, and I bet everybody already knew way before they got to that plot twist what exactly was going to be. It has your conventional Indian protagonist who can take down at least 20 other men with ease, but the only thing here is that he can take down way more than that. Truly amazing. And okay, one thing I really appreciate is that unlike the other protagonists who are unhurt, unfazed while fighting these other guys, the protagonist here does get a bit more damage. He does get blood and he does get scratches and things like that. I don't know what it is. The main actor Vijay running it just felt so wrong. I don't know why. I'm not asking him to run like Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves, but I smirked a bit when I saw Vijay running in this film. It was just so funny. It just felt so cartoonish. I don't know why. Certain moments in the story do not add up also, do not make sense, and there were a couple of plot holes here. Then the CGI needs a lot of work. No kidding, I'll get into that later. Then let's talk about the action first. I touched upon this briefly with the one guy taking on at least 20 guys, but I didn't talk about the cinematography during the action sequences. I have no doubt Lokesh Kanagaraj is a huge fan of games. Heck, I don't even play much games, but I know that he was really inspired by some games. There were some first-person POV shots, close-up shots, overhead wide-angle shots that were moving. During these scenes, there were a lot of CGI and it ruined the scene for me. And there was another sequence where the camera is on a one-take sweeping shot throughout the entire large factory as there was fighting going on all over the place, and it was just handled so poorly, not just because of the CGI, because there was not much emphasis on each action scene. It was done so wrong. I don't know how. This man has done some of the best action scenes for Tamil films, and this film just didn't work for me, the action sequences. And I'm a huge fan of one-take action shots. I loved John Wick 4, I loved Aquaman, and nobody's asking him to make a one-take shot of that level, but how can you make a one-take shot so bad? Especially with this man, but I suspect it has to do with budgetary issues, because he's not somebody to screw up on action sequences this bad. It's probably due to the budget, the lack of budget. He didn't focus on one action enough, and the camera was just sweeping throughout the room like, can we just take a breather? Can we just take a moment to focus on one action scene, then move on to the next, and not just sweep very fast around the room? So yeah, that was my biggest problem. There wasn't much focus on a single action scene. You were just moving here and there. This caused for some really messy and disheveled moments. And that one-take action shot had so much potential, so much, but it was really ruined for me. The CGI was really bad. in the action scenes too. I already said that. Let's move on. I felt like Lokesh Kanagaraj did have the potential to make some really compelling action scenes in this film, judging from his previous films. But the budget really didn't work. Like, the budget was too low for it. Again, I've said this before in one of my previous videos. There were a few characters here that I felt were unnecessary to the story. Like, you don't need these actors. And the acting from some actors really didn't work for me. Especially Gautam Vasudev Menon. Like, there was no expression on his face. He was really unfazed throughout the entire film. I can't figure out a single expression on his face. It was just so monotonous, and I wouldn't blame him because he's a director, right? He's mainly a director. I don't think he has much experience when it comes to acting, so I personally wouldn't blame him. Despite feeling disappointed, I felt there were some good things in this film. Like earlier I said, he was getting some damage while the fight was going on, and I appreciate that. It makes the actions more grounded to reality. The cinematography outside of the action sequences were amazing. It looked really cinematic. Props to the cinematographer, Anuj Paramahamsa. I think he did a great job with the cinematography outside of the action scenes. They really felt cinematic. I'm not kidding. I think he's one of the few cinematographers who can actually make cinematic shots in Tamil films. Then there was a full circle moment in this film. Not gonna spoil that, but I really like that. Full circle moments have been something very common in Lokesh Kanagaraj's film. I appreciate that. The soundtrack in this film was really good. Like, no kidding, the soundtrack, the music here was really good. And they managed to add in a bit of comedy into the film very well as well. Okay, if you don't care about the story that much, you are just looking for the action, yeah, you're gonna find this film really fun for you. It's just gonna be a fun experience for you. But if you're like me, who likes to dissect film and look at the story a lot, like to analyze the story of a film, then you're probably not gonna like this film at all. Other than that, I have nothing else. I'm gonna give this film a 5 out of 10. And just because I gave it a 5 out of 10, don't think that this film is bad. It's just that I didn't like it. Maybe some of you out there are gonna like it, looking at the reviews for the films, how people are praising it. That's all I have for this video. If you like this video, click the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel, and see you guys next time. You guys are always the best. And am I being too critical? Be honest with me in the comments. Am I being too critical on this film? Am I being unjust or unfair to this film, especially Tamil films? One last thing I forgot to mention earlier that I want to mention now. Parthiban is kind of immortal in this movie. Like, he gets hurt so bad, and there are certain injuries which I'm pretty sure would lead to some severe major injuries or death, but he still comes out of it like nothing much ever happened, which is kind of cheating, by the way. Just want to put that out. Or if not, he's just immortal.